G'day guys, Mackie with the Outer Circle, joined by my co-host as most times, usually, something like that, Cat.
Ahoy, hoy, everybody.
And it's that time of the week where we do the weekly Scrubdown. Our, what would you call it, an average of about an hour-long look at what's happening in the hobby, coming out of Games Workshop and Forge World. And, generally we just shit on things in a very tongue-in-cheek way.
Or, as tongue in cheek as carpet bombing can be.
Yeah, pretty much. So, Kat, what have you been up to in hobby in the last week or so?
I've been putting together a bunch of Mark III Marines and recording that to upload that in our little hobby section. Hopefully that if anyone wants to see how I make a Marine, they can have a good old look. So that's a long process, but yeah, I'm making Imperial Fists for those ones. And I've been doing a couple of videos here and there, mostly deleting footage that should never been viewed. So getting that video upload more to get more content for people, because a lot of people can't afford, expensive content like 30k channel. So we're here to save them. Hooray! But actually I haven't gotten any paint to model or paint to brush even. So the building part's always a pain in the dick. What about you?
Well, I finally finished the Terminator HQ in Cataphractii armor. So that was good.
Yeah, I saw that dude. Why has he got a minigun?
No, the painted one.
Oh,
the other one that I created, who does have a minigun, is I use the minigun that comes in like the 40k Thousand Suns Terminator kit, replacing his weapon because it counts as conversion beamer.
I don't know, man.
Shooting the magic bullets.
Still better fluff than anything Matt Ward's written.
Oh snap! Taking the easy road, I see.
Well, it's late.
Yeah, no, fair enough. So yeah, what did I do? I finished the bikes. Did I say that last week? Finished the bikes.
Yeah.
Finished the bike HQ. Finished that character. Added some more. There was a bunch of older characters I had in my army that I built them months and months before they released the decals for the Thousand Suns. So I've been going back and trying to put decals on them all, as well as planning out some new miniatures I've got to build. I want to build a guy based off one of the pictures in the book 7 in the Thousand Suns section. There's this zealous Thousand Suns apothecary dude. I'm like, I kind of want to build him, and just add him into the force. Because I don't have any medics that aren't in Terminator armor, so it'll be good to have one that is in power armor. Not very exciting stuff, I guess, but this is what goes along with an army. You spend a lot of time just sitting there going, I could build this, I could use this, and by giving myself all these extra characters, war gear options, it widens what I can actually put in my lists. So when I play my games, I have different lists every time that way, instead of just playing the same boring, repetitive list again. Often a symptom you see is people, especially people who, the people who are more whack-faggoty, they'll often run just the same list over and over until that list doesn't win games anymore, and then they just buy a new list. And it's just the bare minimum they need. Like Eldar in 6th edition, every man his dog just went out and bought a few wave serpents and the minimum amount of troops, and that was their list. There was no avatars, there was no interesting units put into them, it was just wave serpents and bare minimums of troops.
Yeah, I remember that wave serpent thing.
Yeah.
Good times.
Trying to avoid that by just giving myself variety. The other thing I like to do is take units that you don't see too many people taking. But that doesn't always work out because you think you're being unique, and then Simpsons did it. Someone else turns up and they've already done it. So
Yeah, it's best to do what you like. Today that event is going on, invitational, I guess you'd call it, by the IFRS podcast, and I prank called a couple of the guys saying I was a. I recorded this as well. I really can't make it into a video because they didn't take the bait. Really, I was too goddamn convincing as a telemarketer. I said my name was Sanjeev, and that I was calling on behalf of Games Workshop. I called up Ty, and I also called up Tim. And Ty's from the WW40K, and I called him up and I said, "Hey, I'm Sanjeev from calling on behalf of Games Workshop. I'm asking if you would be interested in a 20% discount off of a White Dwarf." See, I thought they'd be like, no, and then I'd be like, can I offer you? Can you take this quick survey? I was going to ask them, like, why are you so salty about everything we do and stuff? Have a conversation, funniness. But Ty just hung up, like, cheekily halfway through my spiel. And then Tim was just like, "No, thank you, bye." And that was it. Legit it. He actually said hello, at least. I said, but that's the thing I didn't do with Ty. I learned lessons learned. So I said, "Hello, my name is Sanjeev from calling on behalf of Games Workshop. How are you today, sir?" And he said, "Good." And then I'm like, "Well, would you like a subscription of 20% off of an already discounted subscription?" And he's like, "No, thanks." And I'm like, "Okay, so how about you do a quick survey?" And then he hung up. And what a jerk! Who does that? Who hangs up on telemarketers, really?
I don't know. Listening to your shitty Indian accent, I'd probably hang up.
Yeah, well, look, I don't think they didn't know it was me. There's no way. Otherwise, I'm like, cat. It was legit. It was too legit. Too goddamn legit.
Would people from other countries understand this? Like, are Indian telemarketers unique to Australia?
No, I'm guessing
I'm guessing like the Americas would probably get like Latino telemarketers, but
no, they get Indians as well. It's just
Wow, they're like their biggest export's telemarketing, I guess.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
It's very fucking annoying though. Like they put that do not call register in Australia, so like you pay the government money, and they'll stop some of them from calling you. But it's like if they've got anything to do with a charity, they can still call you. So it's like, get fucked. And if it's government, they can still call you. Get fucked. Just trying to cut me out of more money.
Well, I like to swear at people. I get a lot of my anger out on telemarketers. So I just start talking about Games Workshop and Matt Ward, whatever's going on. 8th edition.
I'm not rude to telemarketers. I'm pretty nice to people in general until they really frustrate me. And telemarketers have a habit of not... they're like rapists. No doesn't mean no to them. You say, "I'm not interested," and they keep trying to push it, and it's just like, leave me the fuck alone. So, yeah. Yeah,
I've got... With that, there's, obviously on the internet, there you have ad block, right? And I can stop a lot of my ads, especially on YouTube and stuff like that. I recommend everyone use ad block. Sure, some channels aren't going to get money. Maybe they should get other sponsorship. What up? Don't waste my fucking time.
We're not monetized, so we do this for free. That's
Buy
an
a
interesting
t-shirt.
point.
Anyone's t-shirt, I don't care. I'm not getting the money either way. But yeah, sorry, with the ad block thing, in the shopping center, you can't, and people are physically there, setting up whatever, whether it be for charity or for selling shitty, cheap snake oil or whatever it is, and people just go right up to you, and they usually put dudes on the chicks or chicks on this, and this chick was walked up to me. When was this? Thursday, I think. No, it would have been Friday. No, it was Thursday. Thursday, I had an appointment, and I said, "Hey, where's this shop?" And the dude just cut off this chick because she was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And he tells me, and I'm like, "Oh, good, I have an appointment." But Yeah, I don't know what to do. Should I just carry around like ad block business cards and just hand them out? Be like, blocked, blocked. Just is that what I'm supposed to do here? Phones aren't that bad because there is that anonymity, I guess. From I can just be a dick. I don't really give a fuck if people know who I am. They call me and they're a fucking telemarketer. I don't give a fuck if they know who I am. They should know. They should give me. They should know who the fuck we are from the outer circle. I'm gonna start using that. Do you know who the fuck I am? Actually,
I don't even know who the fuck we are. That's how
that'd be
important
great.
we are.
Yeah, pretty much. Sometimes I can't remember my age or name or address.
That's
But,
the
yeah.
fedoras we've been wearing.
Yeah, man.
Those fedora chemicals.
Yeah, sorry, you wanted to say something on monetization? Should we start monetizing this? I don't think we would ever monetize this. Who the fuck's paying for this shit? Really?
I don't want to monetize this. I
want
the
to
fact
start
that-
a line of ashtrays. I don't think there's a lot of ashtrays in the market, so I think a lot of not an IFRS, that one's already taken. The outer circle ashtray market
would have like
we
a
could
picture
own
of
that.
like Matt Ward's face, and you butt the cigarettes out in his eyes, and then the fucking cigarette, the ashtray like screams.
That's actually really good. We're gonna have a line of rifle targets as well.
Ooh, yeah. Well, see, we've got options. We got options. I don't really want to monetize. I like the idea of keeping this as a very casual thing that we do. We just put out videos when we can. We both do pretty long hours with work. Now I do get people like in the comments saying, "Would you think you're so fucking good? Why don't you try and make it big in the industry?" It's like, no, I'm making videos. If Games Workshop wants to hire me, they can come to me with an offer. I'd probably take them up on it.
No, you wouldn't. They would be paying you half of what you're earning now.
No, I
Why
don't
not?
know. I don't know.
If cunts want to fucking go on our channel and fucking comment and shit, be all like, oh, wait, it's like, this is it. This is it. And this is the best you're going to get. And we're doing better than Games Workshop right now by 110%. Give me your fucking money.
Well, we're really good at responding to comments. Like, a lot of people notice we respond to a lot of comments. Obviously, the amount of comments we get's going to be a lot fucking less than, like, a Games Workshop will or another channel. But, we're not afraid of talking to the fans. We even Skype them sometimes, get them on the show, sit in the bushes out front of their house and jack it. Whatever comes naturally to us. Like, we're willing to do it for the fans.
Yeah, I tried to get that dickhead who wanted to take a fucking Magnus, 30k Magnus and 40k Magnus in the same 30k army. Like, I wanted him to come on the show so we could talk about it and, explain to him why he's a fuckhead. But apparently... So I even called him because the guy had his number attached to Facebook. So, I called him multiple times until he blocked me. But, oh well, whatever. You don't want to be harassed. Don't fucking talk shit.
Well, speaking of talking shit, I'm just looking now at the Primaris Marines video that I put out the other day. It's interesting checking the likes-dislikes ratio, then looking at the actual comments and seeing that there's very little feedback in the video that actually is genuine feedback about the content of the video. Like, that's one thing I find strange. Like, people feel the need to thumbs down the video, which, fine, whatever. That doesn't faze me. But then it's like, I don't know, they won't actually debate any of the points raised. I mean, a lot of people just go, oh, you're just a nerd rage. Or, it's just models, man, don't take it so serious, before launching into how I completely don't understand it. It's man, people are weird. People are weird. I guess that's what I'm getting at.
A lot of those fucking comments, it seemed like they didn't fucking watch the video at all. Like, you liked the miniatures. You liked the...
I do.
You said it looked
I
okay.
like the Space Marines.
I thought you would come out and say they were fucking utter shit. Because I say they're fucking utter shit. And I made the other one, the Marine floating around in the space. I thought that was pretty goddamn obvious where my position was at. But, yeah, dude came on there and he's like, oh, you don't have any military experience. To you, what the fuck, man? He's like, you haven't spent any fucking time.
Yeah, you clearly
military.
haven't
Spent time around military. Like, what the fuck has that got to do with anything?
I've
And second
done
of all,
more hurrying
that
up
cunt-
and waiting than that guy fucking would know.
What the fuck? There's some fucking lead fucking boot ass bitch. I fed it to him, man. That comment seems to be gone too, unfortunately.
Oh well, these things happen.
Damn. It was a pretty good one. He contradicted himself. He was like, "Oh, in our world, body armor changes all the time," and I'm like, "Yeah, that'd be great." And then he goes on to say that this is a 40k sci-fi game. It's got nothing to do with reality. So why the fuck you bring up body armor in our world for then? And also, it did pause like at 40k, like after the heresy, right? They lost all their fucking Mars, lost all their
They
patents
become
and shit.
very regressive.
Yeah, they became stagnant, and they like had to all their machinery and shit like became relics. That's why they have fucking relics, because they can't fucking produce shit anymore. That was the thing. But apparently, and then I said if they can produce everything now, because for some reason that's just been fucking retconned, where Mars can just produce whatever the fuck they want now. Why don't they make something good?
It's very interesting to notice how like, especially people who are going like. Fabius wouldn't work. It's like, why wouldn't Fabius Bile work? And they're like, oh, because he's not very good. He's not a Primarch.
But what people are saying on that
Belisarius Call is not a Primarch.
No, I've seen multiple comments saying that, oh, Fabius Bile wouldn't do it first. You never said anything about him doing it first. You say making something like that, like a bigger marine, like an Ogren Marine, or making Marines.
Yeah, just making a more
better.
Powerful Marine. That's Fabius's whole shtick. That's the rules he's
thing.
had for
and that's
20
what he does.
Years.
It's like that's what he does.
Yeah, for
but
20 years. I thought
it just gives him 1+ of the stat instead of it's effectively what they've done with these Marines. Apparently, these Marines are the same. They just have a 30-inch bolt gun and a 2 wounds per model.
Yeah, I'm not even saying that like Fabius Marines should be like better war gear. I just thought, Chaos in the narrative sense, right? You got to demonstrate that Chaos is a threat. You can't just keep telling people, "Oh, they're a big threat," and then showing them getting their ass kicked constantly, because it just doesn't. You don't buy it, right? It's just the only reason Chaos doesn't lose the war outright is just because they seem to pull reinforcements out of their ass, and like, oh, Chaos has been defeated in all these battles. Oh, but the galaxy's still on the edge of peril. But you don't buy it, right? So I'm like, why couldn't Fabius have, sold some steroided up Marines to Abaddon, probably for a nice fee. Probably would have made a good villain as well, an antagonist for the whole campaign with the fall of Cadia, would have been a good antagonist. And he could have sent forward that army of enhanced space marines, and then Chaos is like, they win the battle on Cadia, and Gilliman's looking at the tactics of it, and he's like, we need to come up with something to combat this. Like Marines have...
Yeah, you didn't have any problem with it. I don't understand. And you said just come up with a better fluff-wise, but apparently they've just got fucking Matt Ward writing this shit, and he's just like, they made him, because all this other shit in the past just never happened. They can produce things. They just decided not to produce anything for 10,000 years.
Yeah, it's like, even Gilliman has, like... It's a lot to get over the stigma of... In 40k, they're so technologically regressive. I don't get how they've turned it around so fast, because even Gilliman, like, he wields supreme power, but at the same time he's got limits on what he can do without pissing off too many people.
Like, yeah, I'm sure that'll change as well.
Like, that's what people forget. Like, the Mechanicum is hugely powerful, the Adeptus Mechanicus. Like, Gilliman says something that's tech heresy, and the Mechanicum doesn't give a fuck if a Space Marine chapter does something. They'll come down on him like a ton of bricks. And that's the whole reason why he's letting the Ecclesiarchy still exist, the whole religion of the Emperor. Because he knows that he can only fight a battle that's so big. And it's like, he's just turned around and he's like, yeah, so anyway, let's just completely fuck with the machine spirits and go away from this whole fucking, regressive tech style. And it just makes no sense to happen in such a short time frame. People going, oh, well, 200 years has passed, in the book since then. It's like, come on. The only reason 200 years has passed is so that, they've got something to hang their plot line on. It's just...
Yeah, that's right. But what you've said to me in the past, that the teenagers playing this game, they don't give a fuck about the fluff, really. They just care about what looks cool. And people in our position that care about the story, that have... heaps of novels, heaps of different codexes. We care about
this up on it.
Fluff. It's like Star Wars. It's basically what fucking George Lucas has done on the fucking... Disney. Well, yeah, George Lucas started it. Now Disney's carrying on with the actual fucking shit fight that is, or
That
what the fuck, or
that's a great
aliens. How
point.
aliens, they just completely fucked that as well. What is this? The year of the fucking jerk?
You
Aliens,
you make
Star
you
Wars,
make a good point though
40K.
there with
What the
George
fuck?
Lucas. You bang on because like this is like the prequels, the Star Wars prequels. People from like our generation and older, we don't like the Star Wars prequels generally, right? You'll get a few exceptions, a few people who are rabid fanboys, but most of us will accept that the prequels were shit, and we really only like the original trilogy. And then you've got that generation that was born in, say, the 90s, maybe mid-late 90s, and they think prequels are just as much Star Wars as any other Star Wars is. And it's kind of like that with this. Like, we grew up in a time where the fluff was pretty fucking dark, where Games Workshop wasn't afraid to get the old Slaneshi titties out there, you know? Gene Steeler rape cults and all that kind of thing, and now that's all being watered down, because it's being made kid-friendly. It's kind of like the same shit that's happened with movies. Like, look at a movie in the 80s that was like fucking PG rated, and then look at what is fucking PG rated now and compare the two. Like, movies that were PG in the 80s, there's no way they'd be anything less than an M now. You know, like in America that would be an R rating. You know, like an MA here in Australia would be an R rating in America. And that's what Games Workshop is, right? They just keep watering it down and watering it down. And for us who are adults and we read this fluff, and even the people who like Games Workshop are like, yeah, okay, like the fluff's starting to get pretty fucking bad. You and I broke long ago when it comes to the fluff, right? And we're sitting there reading this fluff, and we're like, this doesn't make sense. Why is this person involved here? Oh, this is just fucking horrible. But kids don't see that. When kids hear about like the Eldar helping to revive Gilliman using the souls of Black Legion, they think that shit's cool. Like, let's be honest here, GW is appealing to the lowest common denominator. They're appealing to fucking retarded teenagers with that fluff. When you could have written it better. Like, I wrote it better. I put my money where my mouth is. I rewrote Rise of Primarch, put on our fucking Facebook page.
People started like, oh, well, you do a better job. And you did, and they were fucking silent.
Yes, the ominous sound of silence greeted me, because it was like, it was not hard. I mean, I said, instead of the Eldar accompanying, you know, the Super Friends Club all the way to Macragge, the Eldar just basically hook up the Imperial, they come out the webway, hook up the Imperial blokes with an Eldar ship, which drops them off in the Macragge system. Then they go down, they use a bit of archaeotech, which is set up in the Horus Heresy novels, that can actually heal people when they're in stasis, and they use that to revive Gilliman. That was the plotline that I came up with. There's no Eldar involved, there's no fucking fight over Macragge, there's no Black Legion crashing through the wall in a Thunderhawk, because that's just plot contrivances.
Yeah, but then you gotta get everyone's army involved so everyone feels a part of it.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's definitely the Alien Covenant and Prometheus. It's basically, that's how it's going. If you're a fan of the Alien films, like the original Alien and Aliens, and you're looking at Prometheus and Alien Covenant, and you're going, wow, makes a lot of sense, and thanks for fucking with the entire total fucking fluff of this, then you probably like Games Workshop shit as well. Because they completely fucked it. It's sad. And it's just going further downhill. Just Marvel Universe bullshit, man. It's very sad.
Yeah, it's interesting to know. I mean, I'm looking at some of these comments, like people saying, oh, you know, you look at the fluff, regular Marines fall like flies on the battlefield in the game. It's like, you don't need new models to fix that. You just need to change either their opponent's rules or the Marines' rules. Like, you don't need new models. You could just make existing Marines 5 wounds each, toughness fucking 6, right?
But then again,
and make them 50 points a pop. If you know,
don't know
you
about
don't
in
need
the
to
fluff
bring
and
new
stuff.
Marines to do that.
It doesn't make any sense. The fluff, when they talk about movie Marines, right? Kids want to see movie Marines for some reason on the tabletop and in the books. I don't see it in the books either. In books, all the novels I've read, even with the Soul Drinker books and all that shit, they drop like flies as well. Like, a big fucking autocannon's still gonna rip through a fucking, like, I'm talking real world autocannon, still gonna fuck up a Marine. Like, that's just the way that is. It's a big fucking gun. They can't just survive. I think in the Soul Drinkers book, I like how one gets crushed by fucking zombies. It's just like fucking there's heaps of them, and they're like climbing on it, and it's like they crush his skull and shit like that. It's fucking sick. It's just what happens. You just get outnumbered, and I hate that idea that one Marine can just take on like 1,000 other men or whatever. It just makes no fucking sense because
he's a bit strange. It's just strange.
Yeah. Anyway,
but yeah,
I've never been wanking over Space Marine.
The comments have been strange in general. I guess is what I'm getting at. It's like I don't get where, like I'm used to people hating on me and my ideas. I do find it funny though that people. I think this is the big point I want to touch on before we move on, because I'm sure people are probably getting bored by this subject. But when people turn around, they say, writing these Games Workshop books isn't easy. You need to give the writers some slack. Okay, these books are not fucking Da Vinci Code. They're not fucking 400-page novels plus, and the writer's making their entire career off writing this novel, and they're writing from home, and, you're not fucking Matthew Riley, you're not J.R. Tolkien, they're just some dude who's got to write 30 pages every couple of months for a codex. And, this newer fluff with, like, the Rise of Primarch is new and unique, I guess we can say. Whereas all the existing codexes, they just recycle the same shit from edition to edition, add a bit here, change a bit there. It's the same shit over and over. But if you ever walked into, like, a fucking Target or a Kmart, right? Any fucking store, even a supermarket, and there's just a shit employee there. And they're not fired, they're just getting along, Maybe they're fucking sitting there on their mobile phone instead of talking to the customers. You're sitting there waiting for them to come over. And, you're looking at the product and they don't disturb you. So then you go up and you're like standing there next to them, and then they just keep typing on their phone because they're looking at an interesting Facebook post, right? There's shit employees. Every company has them. Why can't people accept that maybe just because someone writes for Games Workshop doesn't mean they're good at writing for Games Workshop? Like, is that such a mind-boggling concept for people? I don't know, am I wrong in that thought, Kat?
No, well, you can think whatever you want, but that's, the evidence there. Like, there's sites dedicated to... Well, fuck, they changed the writers' names. They don't put them in the book anymore. They just put Games Workshop writing team or whatever, because people have legitimately come up to them and be like, why are you so shit at your fucking job, cunt? Like in car parks and shit, apparently. So, yeah, well, that's just... Maybe stop doing a fucking shit job. Like, how the fuck did these cunts get... fucking unbelievable. It's so sad that a 4-year-old could do a better fucking job.
There's ways of being... You can be rude to people, right? The people I disagree with, like, the amount of times that, say, Legio and I have butted heads on forums. He was on our show a few weeks back. 2 weeks back, I think, he was on our show, right? And we had a merry old chat with him. We weren't rude to him, we were polite, We just talked. And I could happily do that with any of the Games Workshop's writers. I'd love to sit down with Phil Kelly and just pick his brain about why he wrote the Chaos Codex the way he did.
Yeah,
why they make the changes they make.
But they don't have any fucking answers, man. They don't have any fucking answers. That's the reason, and we've asked them before.
I'd love to say, why did you make mutilators? Why would you make mutilators this when clearly, like, I can pick up a codex the very fucking day it drops and go and look at it for 30 fucking minutes and go good shit, good shit, shit shit, good 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 shit, good 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 shit, good mediocre shit, good good, right? If I can do that for every unit in a codex, the minute I fucking pick it up, right, within 30 fucking minutes, how can people who've spent months working on it not have come to those same conclusions? I just think they just don't care. I think especially the authors just get enamored of their own work and they think that their work is flawless. And because they all work in the same echo chamber, they turn around and they show the writer next to them. The writer next to them goes, yeah, nah, it's fucking great, mate.
Yeah, it's annoying.
And people think...
I've hit them up on Facebook, man, and I end up getting fucking kicked.
It's like CS Godo. CS Godo... Sorry to cut you off, man. CS Godo wrote about fucking... Like, there's an infamous thread all about it on fucking 1D4chan. About how he had Marines armed with multi-lasers instead of bolt guns. How the Eldar used Chimera tanks instead of grav tanks. because they didn't like Eldar tanks, because they felt that tanks should have armor. Like, just stupid shit like that. It's like, these people don't know the fluff. You know, there's people who are dead set fucking morons working there. Like, just it boggles the fucking mind. So, anyway, let's go on to the new releases. So, anything in particular you want to talk about with Games Workshop, Cap?
Some more Blood Bowl shit, but I guess the two items that stick out are the Warhammer Age of Sigmar, Soulblight, Necropole Battle Mat. This baby comes in the 4x4 mat, $140 AU. Considering I could get a better one.
You get nearly 2 battle mats for $140.
Yeah, what the fuck, man? I just don't understand. Why is some cunt doing this? Any other company is better than that.
They got the iron out again. You got to iron your fucking battle mat.
Weirdos.
Okay, here's the thing with these battle mats. I am totally for battle mats. You know how I have that conspiracy theory constantly going on about how Games Workshop wants it to be a skirmish game with like 20 models on each side?
Oh, yeah.
Why do you think they keep producing 4x4 battle mats and not 6x4s?
Well, this is for Age of Sigmar, but yeah, I agree.
There's nothing to say Age of Sigmar can't be full of big armies. But they've lost that, because you've got to move units individually. There's no more big unit blocks. Sure, you could put units in trays, but it's not the same as Fantasy was. That's why so many players left. When, you know, people would be fucking idiots to try and say that Age of Sigmar didn't gut the fantasy scene. It's doing fine, as far as I know, Age of Sigmar, but they're not the same players.
You know, I would have
many
gotten into Age of
players
Sigmar if they kept the fucking fluff. If they kept the same goddamn fucking universe. If they didn't have to, they could progress it, sure. They could have just made it that the Empire got fucking disbanded or whatever, and to move to the shitty skirmish game that it is instead of big armies. That's fine. What the fuck's wrong with that? Like, I don't understand why they had to make it the rip-off Norse lore and make it this awful.
They could have had Sigmar
fluff.
come back within the Warhammer world and, you know, uniting the Empire under him and bringing his Sigmarines into play. It could have all happened. They could have still introduced new factions, reworked existing factions, morphed factions together in different ways. They went with Sigmar, that's fine. But key point here is there's a 4x4 fucking battle mat, and nobody likes 4x4 battle mats. People would rather just get a 6x4 and even just have it drape over the edges of a table. Because if you need that extra 2 foot, you actually want to play a decent sized game, 4x4 don't cut it. Hell, if you look in like any of the Forge World Black books for the Horus Heresy, every mission, all the maps, all the table setups for every mission are on 6x4 tables. So what the fuck can you do with a 4x4? Well, not a fucking lot.
Well, yeah, it's GW for you. Sweet, sweet GW.
They released the Sigmarite Mausoleum. Is this not just the old fantasy mausoleum just repackaged?
Yeah, I believe it is. I was just like, wait a minute, this is the same thing. And it makes no sense.
This is like the Templar Order badge on the gate. Didn't it used to be called like the Garden of Moor or something?
I don't know.
I like the kit. I do like the kit.
Oh yeah, same, but it's not for that universe.
So you know how it's not Age of Sigmar? Because it's not giant golden comets emblazoned on every building that's the size of a whole wall. Because that's the way Sigmar terrain is. Like, it's always like just these really gaudy giant golden emblems on the sides of buildings and shit. You know, like Sigmar terrain is very fucking on the nose. So this terrain is very tasteful in comparison. There is one thing I wanted to talk about actually in these new releases.
Right.
The Flesh Eater Court's Night Feast Hunters. Now, for ages, I've been trying to figure out cheap ways of doing a Nurgle Plague Cult army for Imperial Militia in 30k. So, like, your Plague Zombies and shit. I thought, fuck, you get a box of this. I mean, it's 110 Australian, but if I went to someone in, say, America or England and got them to mail it to me, it'd probably only be like, what's the average 60% price? So it'd only be about 40, 50 bucks Australian, something like that, right? Oh, no, it'd be more, sorry. It'd be 80 bucks. About 80 bucks Australian. So this would give you, 20 ghouls and 3 of the crypt horrors? The big dudes? They could totally be, like, Plague Ogrons. And the ghouls could totally be fucking your Plague Zombies.
Nah, that's too much money. You can buy a box of Mantic Zombies, like a box of 50 for 40 bucks.
I know, but they've got that little round base on them, and it's really frustrating, so I have to go and clip off all their feet. Like, clip off all their bases.
Yeah, I do that too. It doesn't take that long.
It doesn't, but I'm lazy. But these are official GW models, you see, so I could use them at any official GW store, except for all those GW stores that won't let you play Horus Heresy. There's a lot of them. They're run by real packs of cunts.
Yeah, and then old Blanchy's trying to tell me that they're fucking all good. I'm like, Blanchy, calm down, mate. And then he goes ahead and fucking tells me I'm a
it's because
naughty
you're a rude boy.
Rude boy, that's right. A rude, angry boy. The fuck? Get out of here, Blanchy, you fucking drunk. Fucking drunk.
Oh man, Blanchy's been drinking the paint thinners again.
Fucking Blanchy. All of his fucking lead paste paint that he's been used back in his college days fucked his brain.
It's all the acid he did in the 70s.
I cunt's doing acid like right now. Cunt's off tap. And he has a go at me. Calm down, mate.
Oh, the amount of GW staff we've stirred up. We haven't even been trying to stir them up. We haven't been, like, rude to them. If anything, they're fucking rude to us. So, not that I give a shit. Like, I wouldn't report them for it. Or be like, turn around and say to whoever this guy's a cunt. I just, you know what I mean? Like, I've not got soft feelings. I'm not hurt by their words. I'd love to sit down with them. I really would. See how their fucking brains work. See the gears meshing. So,
no, just do a bunch of fucking acid mixed with cocaine and then do some fucking
ketamine bombs and
PCP. It's good to go.
So, Flesh Eater Court's Night Feast Hunters not doing it for you?
Hell no, not for a fucking militia army. Ew. Didn't you have an issue with people using the Whalers on the Moon as a fucking squat army?
I've got no issue with them using Whalers on the Moon as a squad army as long as they do a little work to make it work within the setting. Like, you can make ghouls pretty easily work as plague zombies, because it's like they clearly look like just malnourished fucking humans who've been twisted by chaotic energies. That's pretty self-explanatory.
But they look like ghouls.
They're
like
plague zombies, like, what are they supposed to look like?
Obviously. But the same as the fucking Whalers on the Moon. They look like Whalers on the Moon. If you just put them in a 30k game, they just look like you've taken them out Whalers on the Moon
like
into a 30k
the
game.
little blimps, the little blimp pack dudes, I don't know that they'd float over too well. Like, you'd be fine with, like, the gun arm dudes, but the blimp dudes, nah.
Well, that dude at that event that you said...
No, he was using Cyborg dwarves.
Oh, Skype.
So, I found that odd. Anyway, Forge World. Forge World released a bunch of new stuff. They released a bunch of Iron Hills stuff. Now, the Iron Hills Chariot. This thing was in the deleted scenes from the third Hobbit film. And what happened was a whole group of these were involved in the battle at some point, and then Balin, Dwalin, Philly, and Killy, like, commandeer one of them. And then that's how they, like, get up that fucking mountain where Azog is. Well, they get to it riding one of these fucking things. This is what happens when you have a person with all yes men around them. Nobody said to Peter Jackson rein it in. You look at how good those Lord of the Rings films were, and then you look at all the weird, stupid shit that happens in the Hobbit films. This is one of those things. So, I just had to get that out of my system. What do you actually think of the model?
I don't know, Rams are pretty cute. Pretty cool. Doesn't look too bad.
What do you define as too bad?
40k fluff. Alien Covenant.
Oh. Snap. Yeah, nah.
Yeah, I didn't... After our Alien Covenant thing, I didn't realise how many other people were like... They brought up the same fucking points. And they were just like, yeah, no. This is bad.
So but does that make you feel good or bad?
No, well, fuck. I'm glad that other people saw it. They weren't just like, oh, I'm glad they just ruined fuckloads of history. Hooray!
Everyone's got a different opinion on it, funny enough. I saw, like, Angry Joe losing his shit over it.
Yeah,
like,
he had the same points as us.
Yeah, although it seems to have made him rage, whereas I just sort of found them... I just found them as being cliches. You know, it didn't destroy the movie for me. I was just like, yeah, that's a cliche. That's a cliche.
Yeah, but that's the same with somebody who doesn't play 40k and doesn't buy a thing and go see, say, I don't know, the movie Ultramarines.
40k is filling it with cliches right now because
like,
shit writing.
And then but that's exactly if someone was into the Aliens, like, there's an Aliens tabletop war game. There's comic books, there's novels and stuff. And have them all just get fucking shit on and basically thrown in a furnace, which is the same thing that happened with Star Wars and 40k. Which is, I guess, depending on what fandom you're in, it's going to hurt you more if you're invested into something than if you're not. And you're not that invested into, you just like the movies. And that's not a huge investment, I guess, other than your time, which is the most valuable thing. But you know, you don't have the comic books, you don't have the models and stuff, but with 40k you do. You're a little bit more financially invested, we'll say, but with the fucking Forge World Orders. Oh my god, fucking Jesus. Oh, doesn't that piss you off that your money is fucking going to those cunts? Those shitty writers, and you're just like, just eating it up, man. Just smoking up your fucking money. That's crazy. I don't know how you can justify that. Hey? I don't buy shit from them on merit of that alone.
You know what interests me is that I understand as well as anyone that Forge World and Games Workshop are the same company. That Forge World is just a subsidiary of Games Workshop. But you know why, like, 8th edition and Forge World just automatically going to it pisses me off? Because Games Workshop are a separate entity. If you're going to have Forge World exist, and they just can't do their own shit, why even have them in the first place? Just roll them into Games Workshop main. You know what I mean? Like, if Games Workshop can just call the shots, you know, on a completely unrelated... It's like if you had a school, right, and there's 2 grade 5 classes at this school, and the teacher from one just comes into the other and says, here's what you're doing today, to their teacher, the other teacher just accepted it. You know, it's the same sort of situation. It just makes no fucking sense, right? And that's what pissed me off about it. It's like, I don't care that Forge World is moving to 8th edition as such. I care that they're just doing it automatically like a fucking group of cuckolds. That just GW just goes, yep, look, we're pushing 8th edition, it's fucking happening. And Forge World is like, yeah, no worries, sir. How deep would you like your fucking cock down my throat again? Balls deep? Not a problem. You know, like, what's the point of them even having their own thing if Games Workshop can just fucking do it themselves? And then they keep trying to, like, capture some of that essence of Forge World, and they try and, like, you know, like, they brought out the... I don't really like the 30k Araman model huge amounts, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like the 40k Magnus huge amounts. They're GW sculpts. But then I see the 30k version of Magnus. I see the 30k Sekhmet Terminators. I'm like, oh, that looks so fucking sexy. It's like Forge World are making these fantastic models, and Games Workshop's like, they're close, they're right there on the cusp of being something great, and then they just derp it right at the last second with like one or two little details. You know, usually it's like floating energy, sculpted on energy around the model. Like that avatar of Yvrain, that 40k Eldar thing, the Yanid avatar thing. You know,
Yeah.
Which looks like half Slanesh, half Avatar, kind of like Fulgrim, and it's got all that Spirit Stone shit swirling. If it didn't have that Spirit Stone shit swirling around it, that'd be a half decent model.
It's not going nuts.
You know, but like every time Games Workshop, they can see Forge World's making like buku fucking coin off the Horus Heresy, and they're watching 40k's just dwindling and dying in the ass, right? And they're seeing Forge World just going from success to success to success. And Games Workshop's like, oh fuck, we ought to get in on this, right? Let's fucking start making Horus Heresy boxes. And they start making them, and they're selling them a decent price, and people are buying it all. But they're not buying them and playing games of 40k or the actual game itself. I know like 2 people who play the fucking actual Betrayal at Kelt game. Everyone else is like, yeah, fuck yeah, this gives me heaps of plastic marines that I can buy for cheap to stock up my 30k army.
Yeah.
You know? It's like Games Workshop's just totally missing the fucking point of what people are finding cool about these things. And then they're the ones who get to turn around to Forge World and say, hey, Forge World, change your product line to be more in line with our failing fucking product. And so you have Forge World who's made this really good 30k rule set where generally the rules have been pretty tight, pretty well looked after. You know, you don't hear too many stories about massive power creep. Volterax, Tim. But, you know, generally the rules are really good. And then you've got this design team over at Games Workshop who, again, you know, they're the fucking 15-year-old chick working at fucking Super A Clothes on her fucking phone texting all the time. Who, these writers, they're responsible for formations, responsible for detachments, for all the power creep, for these shit codexes, you know, for campaign books and terrible fucking data slates. These people get handed the reins constantly, and they get to make the fucking rule set that affects this completely different game system, 30k. It's like, yeah, okay, they're part of the same company, but why even have the pretense then of Forge World being a separate division if you're just going to fuck on them anyway? So that fucking long-winded tirade is what actually pisses me off about it. It's not that they're going to 8th Ed, it's the way it's happened.
I see. Well, there's a Legion Custode, Scrap Tank Annihilator. That's a thing.
Yes. Yes, it is.
More Custode crap. Hooray.
Pretty nasty unit too, rules-wise.
Of course it is. It's Custodes. Why wouldn't it be?
Well, that's true. I still think that... I mean, I've done the is it shit on this tank. I still think that the other weapon option, I think it's the Lastrum Bolt Cannon... No, sorry, that's the heavy bolter things on the front of it. The Lastrum Accelerator Cannon, whatever it's called, on top of the other variant, is the better gun to go with. This thing's a decent weapon, but the other one, you know, it'll kill flyers, it'll kill grav tanks, all the good shit.
Mm.
Whereas this one's just a bit more situational, I think.
Yeah, well, not with the new edition.
What do you think of the model, though? I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I know they wanted to go different with the Custodes. They wanted to have a different look or feel with the miniatures, but they just look so fucking tiny in comparison. So that doesn't have a Custode in it, for sure, driving that thing. There's no way.
No, he's laying down in there, man, like the way the Batmobile works in, like, Christian Bale, you know, and he lays forward and he goes into, like, that little fucking front cockpit section. You know, like the Dark Knight and that.
Well, if that was the case...
Laying on his guts, facing out.
Wait, the Dark Knight, yeah. Nah, maybe it's more Batman. I know what you're talking about, but if that is the case, and they're having some sort of crossover, the Custodes need bigger nipples on their armor.
Well... In real life, in tanks like the Abrams and that, you've been in Abrams before, right? When you're in the fucking driver's seat, you're reclined right fucking back. Like, that's how that system works. Like, they're trying to make the hull as tiny as possible and make the tank as small a target as possible.
Yeah, fair enough.
As
you're not going to go
with a
in
fucking
there
70-ton tank
with your armor and shit. You're not going in there with that at all.
So these grav tanks are cool until someone brings a Stinger missile.
Or Jav, or a fucking IED, or
50 cal
whatever.
machine gun.
Shape charge or
Send a
something.
bunch of birds into the fucking intakes. Yeah, I don't know. I think the tanks look pretty cool. I imagine the Custode reclined right back in the seat. Personally, that's how I'll sell it to myself. I think it's a one-man tank, though. Like, there's clearly no one in that turret. The turret doesn't even have any optics on it. Does it? So how the fuck do you aim it? There's maybe one in the very centre. But, yeah, it doesn't look like it's got any optics on it, so... Must be a cunt of a fucking thing to aim.
I want my sister's stuff, god damn it.
Yeah, the Sisters of Silence stuff's been surprisingly absent, hasn't it? I guess they're not power creepy enough. You know, like all the custodes, they're kicking dicks and winning all the whack faggot tournaments. Like, you know, whenever it's a narrative event, you'll notice that like the custodes are barely involved, but the minute that there's like a tournament, all the custo players come out the woodwork. Yeah, I don't know. It's cool looking tank. It's interesting they've slowed down like on the Astartes stuff, and they're doing stuff like this. There's still a lot of units.
There's not much.
There's a lot of
they
units
to
that
do,
need to be done for the Legion still.
Really, such as.
How about attack bikes?
All right, fair point. Yep, they need Mark 2 and 3 fucking bikes as well.
How about a...
This doesn't work. Those Mark 4s just aren't working for my Dark Angels. I think they're going to turn into Blood Angels very fucking soon. Because the Mark 3... Because fucking Aaron is on my ass about it. And he's just like, yeah, no, man, I have to be fucking Mark 3, man. And then I'm like, God damn it, he's right. And it's like, oh, well, red it is. It's just...
Well, alright, another one, land speeders. There's Javelin land speeders, but there's not land speeders.
I was so excited about them bringing out their old land speeder.
What about Whirlwinds? There's Whirlwind Scorpius, but that's a different tank. What about Whirlwinds themselves? It's a pretty simple thing. All you got to do is exactly what I did, which was I bought a packet of 3 of the Hyperios missile launchers, and I bought a Rhino triple bundle from Forge World, and I put the Hyperios missiles on the Rhinos, and I got 3 Whirlwinds for like half the cost of buying 3 Whirlwinds from Games Workshop.
Well, yeah, one Rhino from Games Workshop.
But that's all they've got to do is just combine the fucking turret of a Whirlwind from another kit, like I said, that Hyperios missile, that ground-based missile turret, and just bundle it with a fucking Rhino. That's all they've got to do.
No, they don't need to do that. That's a bundle. People know how to do that because of our show. We take the reins on that.
You mean the one-click bundle? The one-click bundles that Games Workshop likes to do with buy 3 Dreadnoughts for the cost of 3 Dreadnoughts.
Like the jet bikes that aren't penis bikes, the ones that are in the Heresy book, or the one that Samuel Jerkbag is riding in 40k. I don't know if they still sell that model. It's a metal model. Yeah, it's probably resin or something. It's like the Judge Dredd bike. But I guess there's third party ones that be, so I guess they wouldn't bother really. Why would they bother coming out with the same thing? But you're right, there are gaps. The land speeders and stuff would be cool.
HQs is a big one. A selection of war gear for characters. I mean, we've got some great characters in 30k, but let's face it, almost every single person that has a 30k army has had to kit bash the fuck out of their characters, and you're seeing a lot of similar characters popping up. Like, nearly every Emperor's Children army has a converted Eidolon. You know, Imperial Fist armies are full of converted Alexis Pollux. Alexis Pollux is used in armies that aren't even Imperial Fists, right? And you're seeing a lot of, like, the same characters pop up because there's no, like, really character-specific war gear. There's upgrades for, like, sergeants and stuff with, like, power swords, power axes, that kind of thing. But it doesn't stand out from the crowd. And when you make a HQ, you want them to look really unique, don't you? Like, I know I do with my HQs.
Nope.
I want them to...
I make them slightly different, just either through war gear, maybe give them a spec, but I make them as basic as the troops most of the time.
See, being Thousand Sons, they're more ostentatious. They're like Tomb Kings in fantasy. You know, the pharaohs really stick out from the peasants. So, yeah, that's something I think needs to be looked at. 30k box dreads, I'd like to see them do something. When I first saw the Leviathan, I thought it was a box dread, and then I saw how big it was, and I was like, holy shit. Because I thought that style would have worked perfectly for a box dread. If you just shrunk the Leviathan by like 20%, it would make a perfect box knot. You know, he's a little bit more rounded, a little bit sleeker, looks very 30k.
He does too much chest and too much shoulders. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. The box dread needs an update anyway, like from 40k.
Well, what else could use an update from 40k that's used in 30k? There's a few little things. I would like to see... Well, I should say it. Rumours that I have heard about the upcoming box set, as of course we both know, if it's on the internet and it's a rumour, it has to be true. The next Horus Heresy box set, the rumour comes to me, will contain a vehicle that's not a dreadnought, and it will have a unit that's not Terminators. And that unit will be on larger bases. And that's everything I know about it so far. That's what I've been told, and again, it's the internet, so it has to be true, right? What would you like to see in the next Horus Heresy box set?
I don't want Mechanicum. I want my... I'm hoping that those larger base ones are jet bikes. But they're a different style of jet bike, maybe Mark II jet bike or whatever, with Mark II 3 guys on them.
As in the 30k bikes. Dick bikes, or like that 40k?
Yeah, look, jet bike, dick bike should be fine. Whatever, either one, I don't care. But jet bikes, I prefer jet bikes over Mechanicum, and a Rhino. If that happened, I'd probably buy 4 boxes, maybe even 6 or 8 or 10. Okay. But yeah, I want that Rhino. That Rhino. Holy fucking shit. If they had a Rhino in that box.
So you're talking like a plastic Mark 1 Rhino, not the 40k one lazily slapped in like with the fucking Custode box they did?
Oh yeah, I'm talking the Mark 1, man. So many people would be...
I remember when that Mark 2 came out. That was the coolest shit when it came out. Everyone loved it. They were like, oh, this one looks like it really holds 10 Marines. It can't. Compared to like the Mark 1, because anyone who's seen like a Mark 1 Rhino, they're fucking tiny in real life. What about if they put a Proteus Land Raider in there? Would that interest you?
I don't know. I've got a bunch of Land Raiders from 40k sitting on my shelf that I just don't use.
The Proteus like that
30K,
the 30k one, the Octagon.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't have the... But it's someone without the assault ramp, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's fucked. Fuck am I supposed to do with that?
I have a funny story about Proteuses. When I was a kid playing games in the 90s at Games Workshop, that was back when like they made a lot of their own terrain. So they get like, polystyrene and they cut it into the shape of a hill and then they'd cover it in PVA and flock it, which is like that green flock. That was like sawdust. And then they spray paint the whole table like goblin green, and not even spray paint, they just hand brush it on. They'd have like 20 pots of fucking goblin green, or the smarter stores would take the pot down to the paint shop and get them to colour match it, use a tin of Dulux. So this dude, he had an Ultramarines army, and he had 3 of the original Land Raider. Which back then was like, holy shit, because most people only had like 1 as a centerpiece model in their army. So he set these 3 Land Raiders up on this polystyrene hill, and it was just a bit too steep, and that model was very top heavy, and very, very octagon round, like it was almost as tall as it was long, and all 3 of his Land Raiders just started tumbling end over end, rolling down, steamrolling through all his shit.
Oh, wow, Jesus, holy crap.
So fucking funny. Dude was like mortified, and I'm like trying not to laugh. I mean, I felt bad for him, but fuck, it was funny.
That's good.
I was like, fuck, what, 8 or 9 when that happened? So I would love to see a land speeder in the next Horus Heresy box.
Oh yeah, so what? Javelin or
land speeder jet bikes, and then you could have like either Blood Angels or Dark Angels as the focus of the box.
Oh, White
and
Scar.
then Mark II Marines. Yeah, or White Scars. So it could be any of those Book 8 guys, right? It's funny, I was talking to a mate, Colin, before the show, and he actually thinks that the Book 8, so like Dark Angels, Blood Angels, they'll be like the theme. He says because whoever the latest Marines out in 30k are seem to be who the box sets go after. So it's like the last box set was Prospero. The one before that was Ultramarines. So, you know, he might be onto something.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, Mark II plastics, just to round it out, you know, would be nice. And as for the larger models, it'd be kind of interesting to see rapiers in there. So that, like, you know, one half of the table had, like, the fast shit, and the other half of the table had, like, the
fair
tanky
point.
shit.
Rapiers, yeah. Do they come stock standard with the bases? I don't think they do.
No, they don't, but there's nothing to say you couldn't put them in there. I mean, how many parts would you really need to make a rapier? Like, if you're doing it out of plastic, they can make a dreadnought out of, like, fucking 3 parts. A rapier's got, you know, it's what, 4 barrels and 2 tracks. You could probably cast the tracks as, like, 1 part, maybe 2, for like 2 parts for each track. A plate to hold it together, maybe, and then just the guns would just come as 4 barrels on the sprue, and that's it. So you could probably do one on a pretty small sprue.
What kind of troops would they have in there?
Mark II Marines would be cool.
Mark II.
For HQs, you know what I'd like to see? A HQ
Mark
on a bike.
5.
HQ on a bike. How good would that be? One on a bike,
Yeah,
one with a jump pack. They could have assault marines in there.
Oh my goodness! Wow, yeah. So just a complete fast attack kind of box.
Well,
Yeah.
they've got to do something to break it up from what we've got currently, which is just Marines and Marines and Marines. I mean, I don't see them. I'd love to see them do a Mechanicum box, but I don't see them doing it because Forge World's Mechanicum is so much fucking better than Games Workshop's Mechanicum stuff. I don't think Games Workshop would like to highlight that point. No, check out the Castellan. They look like fucking Michelin Man or the fucking Marshmallow Dude off Ghostbusters.
Yeah, fair point. Actually,
Shit, what a shit sculpt. I'm not saying I could do better, but since you're sculpting in a computer, you can probably fucking delete and start over. Yeah, that's why you see so few of those things. The Castellax look genuinely cool. The Domitar look genuinely cool. Thalax look cool. Vorax look cool. You look at all the 30k battle automata, you're like, oh, that shit looks so cool. You know, it's like modern reinterpretations of the old Rogue Trader stuff. And then you look at like Games Workshop's robots. There's like this fucking weird lanky sentinel type thing. And then there's the fucking Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. That shit looks horrible. But their characters look good, and the Skitarii look alright, so, you know, they got that going for them.
Yeah, they did well with that and the Gene Stealer Colts and stuff. I'd like to see a militia in there. That'd be cool. Basic
They
militia.
do need a 30k militia. But, I mean, how many plastic sculpts do they really make? Like, they've made Cadians and Catachans came out in, what, 3rd edition with plastics? And everyone was using Catachan armies because it was way fucking cheaper than, like, Valhallans and Talaran and Mordian.
Yeah.
And then 4th edition, Cadians went from metal to plastic, and then everyone got a Cadian army. And then that's it. They haven't touched the troops for their armies in literally 20 years. Well, no, it's actually about 15 years. About 15 years since they really did the troops in those armies. So, and they look very 40k with, like, you know, the Aquillas all over them and stuff, and they could make a great 30k militia if they just did, like, the Gene Stealer Colts bodies with, like, Cadians' heads, and without, like, the mutated shit.
And the hefty price tag.
Yeah, fuck, those Gene Stealer Colts are expensive, aren't they?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's the problem with them. I'm just looking now. How much is it for, like, a box of, like, their basic dudes? Because they've got that really cool, like, pseudo spacesuit looking thing.
Yeah, it works. It's okay. But,
What are they? Neophyte hybrids. $70 for... That's $7 Australian a dude. Oh, that's disgusting. Like, you'd remember, back when they had, like, blister packs in stores, there'd be A, B, C, D, E's.
yeah, I remember when Cadians used to be $50 for 20 as well.
Yeah, well... they were 40 for 20 when they came out. Well, characters, Space Marine Chaplain or Captain, they were a blister, which was $12, and B was also $12. Don't ask me why. They were an A blister, which was $12, and that was a fucking character with all the detail and in white metal. This is a plastic dude, mass produced on a sprue as bunch of fucking other cunts are, and he's more than half that price. That's crazy.
It's a Games Workshop's reality we're living in.
They do look cool though. I'll give them that. Yeah, if you
So does a fucking... So does a Lamborghini. I'm not gonna go buy one.
so if you had something similar to this with like the Exo, these sort of pressure suits, you can make a really cool militia out of them. It's just the price is so prohibitive.
I wonder how much they are for UK. Maybe I could go UK and do it.
Let's see how much it is for the UK.
Also, I think Games Workshop America are going to be more in line with our prices soon.
Holy fuck, they're only £25.
That's $50.
That's under $50.
Oh. It's still only a box of 10 though, right?
Yeah, but that drops us from $7 a model down to $5. That's massive over an army.
If you're gonna have a militia, yes.
Well, we come up with a few. You see, that's the one army we can never get off the ground is Imperial Militia. We should probably say it to people. How long have we been talking about building militia armies for?
Yeah, a while since they came out, but I always fell flat on the old militia thing.
We came up with ways of putting like 5 models on one base, and just to make moving them around easier. If you had like 300 models on the board, which is one of the builds we came up with one night at your old place in Ylamby.
Yeah, the old zombies.
Yep. And that was when Book 4 came out, wasn't it? So that's like Book 4 or Book 5. You're talking like a couple years back.
Yeah, I don't think that you'd be... Your militia would be weird though. You wouldn't militia, would you? You'd make it some anti-militia.
I'd love to do like a cult. I've looked at... I don't know if you're still on Games Workshop's site. I'll swap it back to Australia. I speak the Queen's fucking English. I was looking at in the Sigmar range, Grand Alliance Chaos, Disciples of Zench. There's these things called Chiaric Acolytes. And they're like Zench cultist dudes, and they're all like these fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger wannabes, all like buff dudes with like Zenchi swords and shields and these bird helmets.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, fuck, they'd make a really fun Zench cultist army for $40k, and the price on them is fantastic. $84 for like 20 of them. Compared to the Genestealer cults, that's like half price, not even.
Yeah, but you need humans, not bird people.
They are humans. They've just got bird helmets.
They're bird people.
They're bird person, okay?
Yeah. Can't have bird person army.
Wubba-lubba-dub-dub. Yeah. See, we've been talking about this for like 15 minutes now, but yeah, that's... Militia are the hardest army to get off the ground, because there's no real good kits to do them with. I don't want to use just Cadians. It's like a pet peeve is people just using like 40k
Just like
Cadians.
Anvil or Cromlech or whatever. They have a great range of.
They do, but I want to do something different. That's why I looked at those Zench dudes. I'm like, oh, they're so different, the bird cultists. Because that's the thing, like, if it's going to be my army, and I'm going to spend the time hobbying it and putting effort into it, I want it to be unique, something different to what people around me are. I don't just want to rock up with the same carbon copy army.
No one's carbon copying that army. No, I haven't seen anyone use an Anvil or any of that shit as an army before.
I have.
At all. Ever. When?
Fucking heaps of the shit used on... You remember when we played that doubles tournament in Melbourne? That dude had the Orange Guard army? He had heaps of like Anvil stuff in that.
No, he didn't. That was fucking...
Was that Puppets?
Death Corp. That's Death Corp.
No. He had alternate versions of like tank turrets and shit from other companies.
Oh,
I swear they were Anvil's turrets and stuff.
No,
and he had the helmets on them weren't Krieg helmets on all of his guys. Some of them were completely different.
Well,
and then
anyway.
there's the worst of the worst, the guys who are using Cadians, just stock Cadians as Solar Auxilia.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I don't know. Yeah, that was alright. That was pretty bad. That was really bad. But who's doing that, really?
Well, apparently someone was, because you saw it. So did I.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
Anyway, I think that's it.
Yeah. Hit us up on Facebook if you guys have anything you want to mention. Let us know. Comment down below to tell us what you think. Or what's going to be in the new box set? Sweet box set. Are they even going to have a new box set? Have Forge World just lost their mind and gone into a deep, dark depression because of 8th edition? And they're going to, 0 day 30k? Are they going to change? Have they changed the fucking fluff so much that 30k is just not a thing anymore?
They're going to the Dawnian heresy. The Warmaster Dawn.
Fucking, that'd be sick.
Angron died on Istvan. # remember Angron. Thank you all for watching the episode, and we'll see you next time.